In today's video, we are going to talk about researching and planning before you make that move to the Philippines or any country that's not your own. I'm going to give you my 13 research planning strategy tips to help you going into the country.
Perfect.
Hey everyone, this is Ghost Overgare with Doing My Life. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here. We pretty much talk about business. I try my best to help many expats transition into whatever country they're planning to go to. Me personally, I'm from the Philippines. I was born in the Philippines, lived in America for a while, then went back to the Philippines. So with that experience, I try my best to help other Americans when they're transitioning. And I do product reviews because I love tech. So as promised, it's Wednesday, and this is my first installment of hopefully many of a video that will try my best to laser focus on how to help expats transition to the Philippines. So I've made a video like this before, but I think this one's a bit more detailed. Comment down below if you have any other concerns concerning transitioning to the Philippines. Maybe I can help you, maybe I can't, I don't know. But here we go. Now, a lot of this information is pretty much me scouring the internet for sources. Thinking back and trying to remember my going and my memories going to the Philippines, as well as connecting with many of my friends through the many years of living in the Philippines, how they transition and things like that, and what was the good and the bad of transitioning into the Philippines. But a lot of this can be adjusted for other countries as well, so take that with a grain of salt. Every country is different, but generally speaking, the feeling of transitioning, the feeling of moving, it's pretty much all the same. So now these days in 2020, a lot of people are leaving their home countries for various reasons, whether it's relationship, whether it's business, whether it's work. What I realized was the biggest reasons for moving into a different country, whether it's someone who is young and still working, or someone who is retiring or retired. Like the top 6 points have to be like 1, better quality of life, 2, the warmer climate. I'm only talking about Philippines because honestly, as I get older, I don't think I would want to move to some place that's cold because it hurts my bones. So I think a warmer climate is a bit better for when you do get older. 3, lower cost of living, because me coming from New York, everything's pretty much expensive. You know, New York, California, Midwest is reasonable, but I guess in the expats point of view, really stretching their dollar, going to a country like the Philippines where I believe the exchange is about like 49, 50 pesos, maybe 48 pesos. So, and the standard of living over there cost-wise is a lot lower. So that is very attractive and incentivizes a lot of expats to move down there just on the monetary purposes. The other stuff, it's all a topic of contention. How life is there and all those other things. 4 is for the younger people, like certain people can go there for work, or even older people, because you have to realize in developing countries they're always looking for pioneers, experts, advisors, and things like that. So it can become something lucrative for someone who has their sight on a different country to work in, because if the country is still a little bit backwards to where they are in their home country, they can then go to that particular country and bring that expertise and potentially make some dollars or make some good bread off of it. 5 is the interest in a different culture. Some people have the ability to just uproot, move to a different country, and really absorb the culture for what it is because they're that daring. And there's those people who, you know, for some other reason they just want to move to a country for a short time. They just want to experience what a different life is compared to their life they've been living for many, many years. And last is relationships. A lot of people move to other countries because their significant other, boy or girl, for some reason, you know, that is pretty much a foundation for all the other ones. Think about it. Relationship, foundation. You're going to want to move to that country for your spouse or, you know, for your significant other. So you got to adjust to the culture. If you're young or still of a working age, or you still want to work, you're going to have to find a job so that could be rewarding for you. The lower cost of living incentivizes you on top of your significant other being there. It's a warmer climate, so I guess you can enjoy more time with your significant other. And more than likely, the better quality of life, depending on the country you are in. So it's really ironic that the relationship can bring all of those. So that's something to consider. With all that said, I have honed down to how many types of, or different types of expats there are now in 2020. It's probably been there for the longest, but me going to research and then understanding how people are, why people do this, why people do that, I brought it down to 3. You have one, the young person or the young couple that wants to just try something out new, or one is from the other country and they want to move out. They want to move into that country just to get a taste of it. People who work overseas, I find that a lot too. OFWs, you know, Filipinos working abroad. Also Americans working abroad. So you find that a lot in like the Peace Corps, which is not really a job, but I mean, you find a lot in like people teaching English in Thailand now. So there's a lot of types of expats now. Then you have your conventional retired guy, girl, who wants to move into Southeast Asian countries, you know, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. So there's that type of expat. And the ones who are stationed to work in particular places. Like you could be stationed in the Philippines for a couple of years and then move on to another country. I knew this guy one time where stayed in China for a couple of years, then worked in the Philippines for a couple of years. Then I believe he went to Thailand for a couple of years. So it's more of a contractual thing for him. But those are the type of expats that I have realized that are kind of out there. If you're one of them, comment down below which one you are and give me a small snippet of your life and how you ended up in the country that you ended up in. I really want this video to help you transition into the countries that you're moving in. Hopefully the Philippines, you know. And at the end of the day, I want this video to help you figure out your mind and understand the move in every single aspect, the researching, the planning, the strategy that you have that goes behind going to a different country and adjusting and things like that, and eventually experiencing the country. I'm going to give you my 13 research planning strategy tips to help you going into your country. So I'm going to briefly go through this 13 list, and hopefully it brings you value. If it does, stay till the end of the video and give me a thumbs up, give me your feedback. And as I start compiling more material, I really appreciate the sub and you guys consistently commenting, so I can consistently grow this channel to where I believe it should be, and I believe I want it to be. Number 1, not everyone is built for expat life. You have to understand this, okay? Not everyone's built for it. So please understand, please don't get offended. Some people are just built to they have creature comforts that they need in life, and not everyone's built to, you know, to go without. I have a quick story. I knew someone, a subscriber to the channel. I don't know if he still watches. However, he was in correspondence with me for a few months leading up to going to the Philippines, sold everything in Canada. And for some reason, he went to the Philippines already. I believe I was in town and he hit me up and whatever. For some reason, 3 days later, he packed up and went back to Canada. And I felt so bad for him because I'm like, I'm so sorry that happened to you and whatever. I don't know what he experienced, but I guess it was just overwhelming for the family. I would hate for that to happen to any one of you guys, because it does cost a lot of money logistically to bring a family out there, relocate and this and that. That just goes to show you, going forward, this will hopefully help you realize that, are you built for it or are you not built for it? 2, you're going to go through bouts of homesickness unless you have nothing to go back to. The majority of us still have families in our home country, so understand logistically as well how far you are from your home country to the country you want to go to. Cost-wise, how much is going to cost to go there, to go back and forth, if you want to go back and forth, right? If a niece, granddaughter, grandchild has a birthday, graduation, factor that in. How easy is it to get to them when you need to get to them? You know, a wedding, God forbid, a funeral, things like that. Understanding that dynamic will help you a lot with your decision, I think, because if you're comfortable with being 24 hours, 22 hours, then you're probably good. But if you need to be 4 hours distance, a 4-hour plane ride, I don't know. You might have to reconsider your options. 3, as an expat or as someone who's moving to another country, understanding that there's a difference between vacation time and living like a local, or, you know, You have to understand there's a different mindset, different lifestyle when you're going there just to visit versus going there to live. So I'm going to get more in detail as I go forward, but let's just leave it at that. Number 4, prior to you going, I'm sure you guys are smart enough. You're going on the forums, you're checking multiple sources out like I do about how life is in that country, the pros and the cons. I would love for you to find that balance between the goods and the bads, because there's some people who are scorned and there are some people who are super optimistic where it's almost unbelievable. So you gotta have to try to find that balance through like asking people outright, and hopefully they're honest with you about the good and the bad about the country. And if you find someone who's always talking crap about the country, that's probably not a person I would really get advice from, because their mindset, their point of view is already messed up and already skewed. So unless you are somewhat weak-minded, you are gonna get influenced by that mentality, by that energy. So please be careful when you're dealing with someone who has been in the country, or just been able to successfully or unsuccessfully transition to another country. Number 5 is lone wolf versus social butterfly. I don't know how you are. Me, I'm sort of a lone wolf. I'm happy by myself. I'm happy with my family. I don't really need to be around a lot of people. If you're the type of person that needs to be around expats all the time to feel like you're in the in crowd, then you're gonna have to move to a place where there's a lot of expats, because you're gonna find an issue if you go to a province where nobody really is nobody like you, usually white guy, even a black guy or whatever. If you're the different guy, please understand that you are going to be the fish. You're going to be looked at like an aquarium. If you go to a place like Dumaguete where there's a lot of foreigners, then you're just like a run-of-the-mill guy that's either visiting or lives there. So the acceptance for expats in certain communities are more than others. Like some expats are just drive around like it's nothing, like whatever. And then in some towns, some cities, some provinces, expats are like, oh man, oh my God, there's a unicorn around here. So you have to understand what type of person you want to be. Are you the type of person that you need that social interaction with other people like you, or are you okay to just be on your own and do your thing? Number 6 leads me into going in the areas that are comfortable for you. Now, understand, if you go to Dumaguete, because there's so many expats, a lot of the community has shifted into entertaining expats, whether it's services, products, whatever. Now, if you go to a place where it's provincial, like mountainous, you're probably not going to get the same amenities. So understanding the type of lifestyle you want to live goes along with that lone wolf, social butterfly mindset, because if you're a social butterfly but you go in the mountains, you're the only foreigner, it's going to suck. You're going to be, like I said, you're going to be a unicorn, and everyone's going to be staring at you. And it's not like you're going to be a target or anything like that. It's just that it's going to be lonely. And if you can't handle you can't handle being by yourself for long periods of time, not knowing the language, not being able to communicate properly with certain people or things that you need and want, you're going to have a really poor experience. So understanding the amenities you want in your life and trying to find that balance where you can find a place that is good for you. That's like one of the most important things for your sanity. You know what I'm saying? So please, before considering moving, scout the place out. See the place which is probably kind of bad, but I don't know who has the best internet in the Philippines. Maybe Makati, maybe up there, but I don't know. But because that's for my life, I need strong internet. I need to be around where I can move around, do some things. I don't want the super busy life, but I don't want the super, solitude. I don't want to be in the middle of the forest type thing. So totally up to you on the amenities you want surrounding you. Number 7, still within the same premise, is don't be too focused. If you're going to be a social butterfly, be a social butterfly everywhere, right? Don't be too focused on just, I'm just going to hang out with expats all day, because it's really not going to help you. It's going to seclude you and alienate you. Don't be that guy who just married a Pinay or married the person from that particular country just hanging around, because it's going to be really odd, and you're not really fully experiencing yourself and really experiencing the culture there and wherever you live, because I don't know why you would move there if you're going to be unhappy, and you kind of have to meet in the middle when you're in a relationship. So basically, like, you can choose to blend in or go against the grain. So I hope you blend in, or you try your best to blend in with the culture, the mannerisms to a degree, the way things flow. You can always input certain things to make it better, but you have to be willing to go with the flow and things like that, to really, more than anything, to keep your sanity. 9 is, some people are not built for the weather. I mean, you might love paradise. You might love the sea breeze. You might love the cool wind, not like winter. You might love the cool air in Valencia or Baguio. But are you down for the humidity? Because if you're not built for that, then I don't know what to tell you. You're somewhat close to the equator. It gets pretty hot, sometimes blistering hot, and it gets pretty humid. So understand that. If you're okay with that, then fine. If you're not, then I don't know what to tell you. Unless you can walk around with a mobile AC, then you might be good. But understand you're going to be sweating profusely, and it might be an issue for you. For myself personally, I take multiple showers in the when I'm in the Philippines, because I just don't like that feeling. However, I go to the beach, I enjoy myself, and usually I stay indoors until the sun goes down, and then I do my thing at nighttime, or go out for dinner and things like that. Number 10, considering your family circumstances. Now, for young people wanting a child and this and that, please consider the fact that the kids are going to get sick. Make sure you're right medically. Make sure you're close or at a good distance from a medical facility or anything like that. Even for yourself, and also for those guys who are up in the years, understanding that if you marry up a younger female and you don't have a vasectomy and you have a baby, understand you're going to be facing another 20 plus years of taking care of this child. Unless you have a crazy pension, 401k that can support that situation, then that's fine. But before getting into that situation, understand that you're taking another financial burden for yourself. And I've seen this countless amount of times where you have 10-year-old kids with a 7-year-old father. It's going to be rough, because you just came out of probably raising kids, or you're probably in the grandchild stage, and then you have a kid. So understand that if you're going to take that road in life, that you're going to have to prepare things just like you did when you were a younger man, and with your children and stuff and things like that. So please consider that when dealing with the family and circumstances with the family. Anything can happen, so they have to be fully prepared as well, because you have a lot in tow. So you have to consider their outlook, their feelings, their experience as well when moving to a different country. Number 11, I try my best not to focus on this too much, because it's the crime rate. Understand that I am not going to go live in a place where a lot of drug dealing is happening, shooting. It's common sense, right? I mean, right? If you had a choice, you're not going to move into a place that has a lot of crime. It's just common sense, because you want to be safe. You want to be able to sleep soundly at night without worrying. So that goes without saying. Please understand how the demographic, the area is, how things go down over there. Like me personally, dumaguete, there's a lot of vigilantes. Things can happen, and I know personally that like crimes like that in Dumaguete, Negros, don't really happen out of the blue like here in New York. Like here in New York, you step on somebody's shoes, we got a problem. People die over that right now. Or they've been dying over that since I was a kid. You talk to somebody the wrong way, you got a problem. Back home in the Philippines, not so much. It's usually, unfortunately, a lot of it is hired stuff. So That goes without saying. I'm kind of ranting a little bit, but when you're going to a country, make sure it's safe. You're not, make sure you know the good and bad areas, right? Ask. That's why you have to ask around. Like, expats will fully give you full disclosure as far as, oh, don't go to that place, don't go to this place. This is bad. This place is dodgy. This place is shady, or whatever, so on and so forth. Number 12, I believe, is pretty important. If you are retiring, what are you going to do to occupy your time? What are you going to do to fill up your time? Because if you're a busy type of guy, you need to find a place, once again, that has certain amenities for you to explore. If you're an avid fisherman, make sure there's a place that you can fish. Well, there's not a lot of like leisurely fishing in the Philippines. I noticed there's a lot of commercial fishing, but not leisurely fishing. Not that I know. I do have friends who have gone fishing in lakes and stuff like that, but not to the extent like they do here in America. So if you are retiring, or even if you're young, go to a place that gives you that balance. Like, the saying now is work-life balance. I personally don't believe in work-life balance because I'm still young and I'm out there working. But I guess when you are in your later years, find a place that can occupy your time, because I have seen too many times the same guys at the same bar just sitting there all day drinking brews, just drinking beers, knocking down beers. I don't get it, but I understand they're retired and whatever, but they're only adding inches to their guts and not enough inches into their experiences in life. So, you gotta find a place that will suit your needs. And 13, thank you for getting to the end of the video, is probably the most important thing that you can do when moving or transitioning to another country, and that's preparing. Understanding the strategy of that move, understanding it months or years ahead of time, really looking into things like costs and, where am I going to stay? How am I going to do this? Having contingencies as to, if this happens, this is what's going to happen. If this happens, if plan A failed, I have plan B, or B through AA, and be really prepared to a degree, because you can't really prepare for everything. Be prepared to a degree of how to handle certain things when you move into a different country. Anything, I try my best to be steps ahead. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I don't, but try my best to be steps ahead. That's pretty much my top 13 things that you should do or consider doing when it comes to researching, planning, and strategizing before moving to a different country. I hope that gave you some type of value. If it did, give me a thumbs up. If it did, smash that thumbs up, because it helps the channel grow. It helps the channel get discovered faster. I can go on and do the things I really want to do with this channel. With anything, hard work pays off over time. So once again, this is Gilson Vergara, Doing My Life. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Take care and God bless. Bye.